Red, white, and blue, baby. There's a lot of nation pride here in the United States, despite what maybe sometimes the media shows, especially here in Texas. We're going to take a look at this 100% made in the USA gym bag setup I have. I'm even wearing all made in the US clothing, except for underwear and socks because I didn't get those. Let's talk about a couple things first. First of all, why buy in America, what the Federal Trade Commission requires to use the Made in the USA tag, and then we'll get into this bag. So let's talk about that stamp of Made in the USA. It's a big pride marketing focus for companies that do this. Why? Well, from what I've realized, it can be pretty damn difficult. Companies that have achieved the ability to use the Made in the USA tag have had to overcome things like margin issues from high cost to manufacture. Materials here, as well as labor, tend to be more expensive than other areas that we generally see, like China. There's also a major lack of resources and skilled labor depending on what you're doing. For example, you can't buy any cross-training shoes made in America, which is why I've dubbed these Go Ruck ballistic trainers about as close as you can get. Go check out that video if you haven't seen why and a detailed breakdown of these shoes, because again, this is as close as you're gonna get. These are made in Vietnam. So why go through all this trouble? Well, for reasons that also apply to anyone outside the US that also may want to buy domestically in whatever country you live in. Investing back into your local economy, which allows job creation and reduces overall national debt by limiting trade deficits with other countries. For example, the US's trade deficit with China is largely caused by the fact that we pay billions in labor to manufacture in China, and in turn, we'd expect the Chinese economy to purchase back from those American companies. Money goes out, and then money comes back in. Rather, as someone who used to work in patent law, you see China simply counterfeiting the products and are out of the reach of the US government's enforcement. Or they just slap high import fees and have it better to buy domestically in China. Therefore, we get into a trade war. Manufacturing domestically, we also have better oversight in manufacturing processes for both labor and environmental regulations. Labor-wise, we're more secure in knowing that everything is made ethically. You can see my video on the Xinjiang issues regarding that. And then environmentally, there's a couple reasons. We have a lot of regulations regarding pollutants, and shorter transportation of goods domestically rather than globally cuts down on emissions. Then lastly, sometimes the US just makes superior products. Like US Steel is notable to be one of the world's best. But on the converse side, because of the lack of ability to manufacture, if you're looking for a product made in the US, you're just going to be stuck with what you can get. It's not always the best, and I'll tell you that if you look at my gym bag setup, which I've compiled what I consider the best out there, 90% of it is imported. So what does it mean to use Made in the USA? Well, the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, governs the use. It requires that all or virtually all of the product is made in the US, meaning that nothing negligible within the product can be imported. And it's on a reasonable basis to support your claim. There's a lot of legalese in there, so let's quickly give an example. So the core of the product must really be made in the US, and it must be a high percentage. And the exact isn't given, but a great example is used for a barbecue gas grill using Made in the USA. Everything but the knobs and hoses are manufactured in the US with those imported. 95% or so of the product is in the US, and a very minor portion is imported. I think a reasonable person would understand that that counts. Those that don't qualify, you can use things like designed or assembled in the US. Companies know that it's important, and it's a reason people will buy things. So that's why we see it. So let's finally get into the bag and some of the new products that are going to replace some of the products in my bag setup. And I'll be sure to point those out. All right, let's start with the fit. Origin USA out of Farmington, Maine. If you're a Jocko Willink fan, I'm sure you probably heard about him. He was recently on Joe Rogan talking about the importance to manufacture in the United States, even saying that companies should perhaps have a higher cost product made in the United States if it truly is the fact that margins are very slim here. Origin started out with jiu-jitsu gis, so if you're in the MMA world or do jiu-jitsu, then I'm sure you probably heard of them. I'm going to be getting back in jiu-jitsu, and I'm going to be wearing Origin gis for sure. They also got rash guards, and then they do have clothing. Jocko also sells his line of supplements made in the United States there, and they make jeans and boots. All around fantastic products, and he pretty much revived a desolate manufacturing market up in Maine to make this, because he's in San Diego. So he got it done, and I gotta highly recommend anything from Origin. This shirt is super soft, super slim, super comfortable, and I love the products. Up next, and this one was pretty hard to find, are these Rogue fight shorts. Shorts were surprisingly difficult to find any variety of Made in the USA stuff. Like, there was a lot of sweat shorts out there, but nothing that was like moisture wicking or something that I'd really want to use against a barbell. And fight shorts are pretty fantastic for that, because they're really, for lack of a better term, are supposed to take a beating. And Rogue makes a lot of Made in the USA stuff, and they stamp it on their website, and you can even search on their website Made in the USA, And like I said earlier, US steel being pretty much superior in the world, it makes for great weightlifting products. And again, Rogue has a whole bunch of stuff. I even got knee sleeves in here that we're gonna see. All right, so let's get in the bag. This might be the most overbuilt backpack that I've ever seen. If you're not familiar with GoRuck products, it's for rucking. And I'm not a rucker. I do have a ruck plate carrier because sometimes it pops up in CrossFit workouts. And if you don't know what it is, it's carrying a lot of weight on your back for an extended period of time or just doing it while exercising. So I've had the plate carrier. I don't believe that's actually made in the United States, but this backpack is, and it comes at a high cost. But in return, again, you get a made in the USA product of incredible quality. I'm talking robust zippers, a whole bunch of MOLLE attachment system, and you could literally travel the world in this backpack. I believe this is the 36 liter. I'll correct that if it's not. And I did pay a premium for it, but what are you gonna do? So GoRuck's out of Jacksonville, Florida, and if you haven't seen my video on who GoRuck is, again, go check that out. The shoes, I said, the ballistic trainers are fantastic. Those aren't made in America, but they're as close as you're gonna get, and it's created by a couple ex-servants of their country. There's a husband-wife team, one served in the CIA, one was in Special Forces, and they're doing everything they can. You can see with the price points that they do try to, whatever they can to make in America versus not making America. So we'll get into the bag. So we have a front storage portion, and this is actually going to be my everyday carry bag now for work and just traveling around, photography if I'm not going on an extended trip and don't need a lot of equipment. So there's nothing in this pouch here, but there is a bunch of storage. Put up here, you can put like a med kit, you can put up cables, you can put up whatever you want. We open up into the main compartment, which I have all of my made in USA gear. This isn't as robust as my everyday carry for the gym or my gym bag in general. This is just, what I could find. And also, this video is sponsored by me. So everything you see in here is paid out of pocket. Some of it comes from the YouTube revenue, which I can't thank everyone enough for the support. So there may be some variations of stuff or some stuff missing that you would generally carry, but again, it's coming out of my pocket. Let's talk about the water bottle. Nalgene is made in the USA, which I never even noticed on the front here. It actually says made in the USA. And that's what I'm talking about. People have so much importance in that marketing when they can actually get it done. Now, the one thing I don't like and I couldn't find is I'm trying to stay away from plastic, even though this is BPA and I believe BPS free, just because even with that, some of the stuff they've replaced it with the lining and everything else from what I've read is still not the best for you. Like I prefer metal and glass, but I just couldn't find it. So Nalgene made in the US. If that's not particular or a worry for you, then here you go. Then we have Victory grips that are actually going to replace the crappy Bear Complex, no offense, whatever, offense, I don't care. The Victory grips are going to replace my Bear Complex grips that I have. They're stickier. These are like the carbon ones I got. I don't necessarily use the holes, but I love these. Like my hands stick to the bar so well when I'm doing pull-ups or I'm doing muscle-ups, and it feels fantastic. These are the best grips I've ever used. I've used Rue grips, Bear Complex, and some other ones, I think a couple other ones, and nothing has compared to what these are. Then we're talking about, so I like my RPM rope. I don't know where it's made, but RX Smart Gear is made in the USA, and this is a drag rope, so this is something I actually wanted. If you really want your double unders to suck worse than they already do, then you get this heavier drag rope and do double unders with it. RX Smart Gear made in the US. Then we have this belt. This is another thing. This is going to replace my current 2-pood belt. It's more substantial, it's heavier, it feels of higher quality. If the weight of it feels good around my body, and they're out of Coleman, Texas. I love what this guy, you got to follow him on Instagram. It's an entrepreneur. He just constantly gives you full transparency of what spending they're doing for marketing, how they're manufacturing, all the troubles that he's going through with getting stuff built, getting stuff sold, how the company's evolving, and that kind of transparency and entrepreneurship is something I absolutely love. So big fan of Pioneer belts. I'm going to be using this. I got this digital camo belt, think it looks pretty sweet, and it's going to replace my 2-pood belt in my bag, and I just love it. So a couple Rogue things I have here. Rogue knee sleeves, made in the US, and then I love these like friction Rogue wrist wraps. They're just simple wrist wraps, and they've got like this kind of like rubber or whatever texture on there that holds the wraps in place around your wrist. And I had to get These, and I needed some new ones anyway. These are one of the few things that are made in America that are actually in my bag right now, but I've had them for a couple years and need a replacement. And I saw these American flag ones and had to have them. And then the knee sleeves. These Rogue knee sleeves are pretty good. They're not as good as the Rebands, I would say, but I'd say the difference is pretty negligible in terms of the performance. These are 5mm size large. I feel like the 5mm gets you right in between, because there's 3mm, which gives you a little mobility, a little more mobility, and then there's 7mm, which gives you like a stiffer feel. And knee sleeves have been equated to higher work output in things like squats or anything like that. Anything where you're really using your knees. You can check out my Reband breakdown video of the science behind that. But these are Rogue, made in America. And that's really it. It's a pretty minimalist bag, but I think overall, if you're getting into CrossFit or you have an everyday carry for your CrossFit gear, you really don't need that much. I carry more because I test stuff. Like I would add barbell collars if I didn't already have 3 sets of them. And I would get those from Rogue. They've got some really great made in the USA ones. But overall, this bag is absolutely fantastic. It's not gonna replace my gym bag, but it is gonna turn into my everyday carry for my camera gear and my laptop. So if you like this video, hit that like button. If you loved it, hit that subscribe button. And if you really loved it, hit that notification bell so you can see more videos like this. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one.